707. I'm Daedalus Howell. We're with Omar Gallardo. He's the Outreach and Diversity Director of Landpaths, which is here in Santa Rosa. Hello, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Quite well.
Landpaths. What is Landpaths to those out there who aren't familiar?
Yeah, so we're a conservation organization. We're almost on our 20th anniversary, birthday.
Right.
So it's a conservation organization based here in Santa Rosa, but we work throughout the county. And our mission is pretty straightforward. It's to foster a love of the land. But I think what that really means is to really try to foster that passion, the understanding of why it is that us here as residents of Sonoma County should actually take on the responsibility of learning about the land that we protect and also taking care of it.
Right. When we think of land as a resource, we often think of it as something that can be used for agriculture or building something on top of it. But you guys are looking at that resource as something meant to be preserved and not messed with.
Well, I think that's some people would probably say that's a more traditional way of of the conservation of conservation. But I think
that's what I have.
The way we view that is really using the land to one heal us as humans, but also in reciprocating that love for the land, and then also healing the land as well. So as we say, we might not know. We might not develop that passion to defend what we have, the beauty that we have in Sonoma County, if we don't know what we have.
Right.
So in order to do that, we need to expose people and provide access to everybody in Sonoma County to these places that we protect.
How do you do that when we're essentially becoming an urban center here in Santa Rosa, and you can walk outside and go quite a few miles before you get to actual land that isn't paved, right? How do you introduce the concept of land that hasn't been paved over to somebody who doesn't have an awareness of it yet?
Yeah, we try to be as creative as possible. We see that as an obstacle for a lot of people. Sometimes more so transportation was a big issue, and it still is a big issue. Not all our public transportation doesn't necessarily grant us that opportunity to actually get out.
Yeah, you can take a bus to Spring Lake, but you can't get to the to the beach.
Yeah. Can't get to some of the other places that we protect as residents of this county. So what we have as an organization, with the city of Santa Rosa and other partners, created an urban park in the middle of Roseland, Bayer Farm.
Right.
Where we brought, to the community the idea of possibly, going out and really providing more than vegetables and an opportunity to actually grow your vegetables, but a healing space for the community as well. For the past 8 years, and then starting to kindle or I think rekindle that understanding of what it is to be outside, and then from there provide this way of getting outside. I mean, I think a lot of us go to the Transfer Mall to actually get to different places. I think Bayer Farm has become that portal to a lot of these other areas, open spaces that we protect through the Open Space District, through the Agriculture Preservation and Open Space District, that we ourselves fund. And I think that's kind of being creative. A lot of other things that we do are also, it takes a lot of time and effort, monies as well, to get really spark that curiosity.
Well,
through youth programs, we do a lot of that as well.
Yeah. You used a word earlier, which I thought was really interesting: rekindling. Do you think we as humans have a sort of innate relationship with nature? I mean, we're technically a part of it, and yet it's so abstracted sometimes. So rekindling that, especially in kids, as you're just mentioning, is that just do you just do it by taking them out there and showing them here's another way to experience life? Or
yes. So I think it's my firm belief that people throughout the world have in some way or another been exposed through their parents to that love of nature. We've just lost it. It's lost through wiring ourselves to technology, the TV and whatnot, and so that is it's there.
Yeah.
And it
there
just
used to be a time where you could leave the TV behind, but now it lives in your pocket.
Yeah. And so as I tell the youth that I work with, is my passion is to try to instead of having them wired to a gadget at home, or possibly the headphones or whatnot,
Right.
to actually reroute them.
Get wired to nature.
Exactly.
Tie them to a tree. Yeah.
I didn't say that. But yeah,
That was me. I said that.
So but it's and so we are creative as with cultural events. We try, we have 2 youth programs, 3rd through 6th elementary age environmental education program called IUBI in our own backyard, and then I manage the Inspired Forward, which is teenagers.
Let's come back to that
Yeah.
after a break here. We're talking with Omar Gallardo. He is the the Outreach and Diversity Director of Landpaths. We'll be right back. It's 7:07. I'm Daedalus Howell. We're back. We're having a chat with Omar Gallardo. He's the Outreach and Diversity Director of Landpaths here in Santa Rosa. We're covering a lot of territory about preservation, conservation, and reconnecting with nature. And I want to know how you got to this, because you have a really interesting family background. Can you tell me, our viewers, where you came from?
Well, I was born in Mexico. I came here as a child, 5 years old and whatnot. Went back and forth. My dad was injured in a logging accident in Mendocino County. Kind of went back, tried, to the farm, the farming, because that was his passion. Right. And also, my mother is, I think she can make pretty much anything grow. It's just got a huge green thumb.
Yeah.
It's what is it, green thumb, green finger?
Yes, green thumb. Yeah.
So it's I think it's a passion that they've had, and somewhere along the line, I think my family and those around me, I think really kind of inherited some of that.
Yeah.
And so I lived here most of my life, and when I got into college, for the first time, I actually was able to go camping. But it wasn't until college that I was offered the opportunity through California Mini Corps component of migrant education.
Right.
And so what I did was that I tried to motivate elementary school age children to be with me for a whole week. And then we would travel throughout the state. So they gave me that great opportunity, and and I think right there, that's where that rekindling started again. It's my father valued work. My mother likes being out in the garden and growing things.
Those
and
genes inside you got activated finally.
I like to believe that. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of this passion started. I started doing Aztec dancing a lot.
See, no one just starts doing Aztec dancing randomly. What drew you to that?
Well, when I was at Geyserville High School, I started by doing ballet folklorico, which is Mexican ballet. It's
a folkloric.
Ballet, folk ballet, and they had one there, and so I started doing that. I think that's kind of where I discovered. I was like, well, I have some rhythm, And so, but then there was a spiritual part that that I think I needed kind of in my life. And so.
Were you raised religiously?
I was at an early age. I think.
But then it all kind of fades like it does.
I went to college, and I had these I had these times where I started questioning certain things, and it kind of scared some people. My mother, one of them, my teachers.
Now you're going to hell. Good one.
Well, and so what happened was that there was the Aztec. I saw Aztec dancers, and I really started looking into them. I went into history. I went to Sonoma State, got a history degree, and I started exploring that. Really into the anthropology and so I saw this, and I started exploring more and more.
So when you're studying history, were you searching for your own history in a way? Were you kind of deep diving into like the possibilities of where you came from? That kind of
I think that's one of them, and especially being Chicanos and Chicanos, that's one of the things that you look at. It's like what through all these obstacles and difficulties that you face throughout your life in this country, sometimes you look for that, and that gives you strength. Right. So I think looking for my identity was one of those things where I grabbed a lot of that strength. And
so for viewers out there, Chicano versus Latino versus Hispanic versus Mexican.
You're opening up another more terrain here. So.
Well, you identified yourself as Chicano, right? What does that mean?
It means that you are, one, you take a personal responsibility to look back at your community and see what you can do So it's not. We like to say that it's a verb, and it's action. You go out and you don't necessarily just talk, but you actually try to go out and help out in whatever way possible. There's a lot of people that helped me, get to where I am, aside from my family, and I think it's not just because it's my personal responsibility. It's just talking in cliches and whatnot, but it truly is.
It's more of a philosophical identity than a cultural one.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're talking about people who had influence on you besides your parents. I know that Fernando Nugent was a mentor of yours.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about Fernando?
No, he was. I think very for a lot of people, maybe sometimes a little controversial. But I think
He was cool though, man.
Yeah, no, but I think that some of the people that leave that passion in folks and that motivation, especially in students, I think are some of these people that are outspoken. I mean, I truly feel that he had our backs. He went out of his way to not just inspire us, but other people in the community. A lot of the things that he did were on his own time, teaching people, helping people become citizens, educating people in the community, adults. And so, that's, he's one of a lot of people that, probably you don't have enough time in your show to actually go out on a list. But, and so these are the folks that actually, sparked at somewhere along the line, really looked at where we come from and, really the earth and the environment, for a lot of Chicanos and even in society right now, it's not really valued really to, if we look at where we're going.
Why do you think it's not valued?
I think it's just across the board. I think across the board it's
everybody.
Across the board it's until we start really looking at how to bring down this fever that the planet has. We're going to really start to see that importance of that. I think one of the things that's distracting us from it is probably not just technology, but some other society ills and systems.
It's hard to think about the problem that is climate change in the world when you're still worried about what's happening in your life at home or something.
Yeah, and so I think if you really look at start breaking down certain by communities and what they value. I mean, that's certainly one thing that within the Latino community, and trying through Landpaths, trying to reach out to these different communities that have traditionally not had that much that access to open spaces or parks and whatnot. We see that there's other things that are might be a little more pressing in their lives. But I think recently it's been through Latino Outdoors and other entities have looked into that, and I think they've broken down some of these stereotypes that somehow Latinos and other people of color don't value nature, and I think it's just inherent in us that we do in our own way.
Everyone does, yeah. Well, let's come back to that in a second. We're talking with Omar Gallardo of Outreach. He's the Outreach and Diversity Director at Landpaths. We'll be right back on 707. It's 707. We're back. I'm Daedalus Howell. That's Omar Gallardo. It's a conversation about Landpaths. He's the Outreach and Diversity Director, and where we left off is talking about promoting access and getting people outside and making sure that everybody in our community feels they have that access, right? There's been a lot of research lately about mindfulness and meditation, that kind of thing. And one of the recurring themes is getting out in nature and the positive psychological and ultimately physical health benefits that come from just integrating into something that's not just indoors.
Yeah.
Right? Is that part of what you guys are pursuing, that using nature as a means of promoting health and consciousness?
I think we didn't really promote it as that. Yeah. I mean, I think we knew it was important, and we knew that it helped. I think the research now is actually coming out and actually validating what we've always thought.
Yeah, it's always go out in nature, you'll feel better, but Honestly, I have to say, until I started coming across that kind of research myself, I'm like, oh, I guess that's real.
No, they've actually proven that, for example, if you go out and actually play with the earth and the soil, and whatnot, you develop all these immune
yeah, your immune system gets bolstered because you're exposed to things. Your heart rate goes down. Everything.
I think there's a study even that actually says that going out and hugging a tree is actually really good for your your brain.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, and so for some, even certain entities that really kind of look at that and possibly fund these programs. It takes that. It takes numbers. It takes studies and whatnot to actually accept some of that. Mm-hmm. But I think for the past those 19 years that we've been in existence, we've seen that. And I think one example at Bayer Farm. There's a few examples of this. Is that, there was a woman that she, just in her interactions with folks was kind of questioned on, just her actions and whatnot, and came up to me and was like, "Don't take this away from me." Oh, wow. And not that we were going to do anything, but but it,
did you take it away?
And no, okay. No. What was going on is here's a person that goes out to the garden and just like, "Don't take this away from me." It's this is my medicine. This is where I come. This is where and I'm going to get into what she's going through. But also, folks out there, organically, pun intended, have gotten together at Bayer and used that site for in creating not just the tinctures, medications from the medicinal plants that they grow, but also them healing their families, their husbands, because of diabetes and whatnot, have chosen to use the site for those purposes, and just for themselves. That's literally, it's a healing going on, with the earth, and I think that's in essence what we're about.
And it's a conversation too, as you mentioned earlier, but between the earth and the person, nature and the person, by healing themselves, mm-hmm. they're also healing the earth, and the earth is healing them. It's really exquisite. Yeah. With other entities in the county, like Sonoma Land Trust and all that, do you feel? Obviously, it's complementary, the kind of work both organizations do. Yeah. Do you guys fight over territory? It's like.
No, I think we have. I think the interaction that we have is very unique. Mm-hmm. Sonoma Land Trust does great work. Even exposing not just Sonoma County and connecting with places outside of Sonoma County, not just in the nation, but outside. Doing great work in Chile and doing that cross-cultural connection. I think there is another realm because we partner with them and we programmatically we have our students going and exploring their land. They understand what we're about, and I think it's just a perfect tag team. And then the other component, the agricultural preservation and open space district is they as they like to they go out and protect the land financially through easements and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then we go out and we basically expose everybody to what we've purchased as a county. Yeah. So I think it's a great team that we have in the county. It's very unique throughout the United States.
It is unique, and it's funny. 20 years ago, you guys started this, and I'm not sure when you joined, but you've been part of them a long time. Mm-hmm. And we're really seeing the results of that investment early on. We have a green belt. We have all these things that a lot of places mm-hmm. just don't have anymore. They blew that opportunity to take advantage of undeveloped land, and now it's gone.
And that's true. I'm a firm believer in if people come to Sonoma County from other places and what attracts them, it's that beauty. Sometimes we question it, because we want to build certain things here and there, and but I think if people come, it's because of the beauty. They like to come here. They like to explore, and I'm a firm believer in that.
So if you and Landpaths were going to pay it forward, what area would you like to just sweep off all the concrete from, right? and just fantasy. It could be, I would take down the mall. I think that's ready to go. But and I said that out loud. So, but What is there a space that you think is ready to be reclaimed and kind of reinvested with nature?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of energy. I think probably playing on the safe side. I think there's a lot of energy going on. Around the Southeast Greenway
Right.
that's going on. I mean, that's not just fantasy. That's happening.
No, that's Central Park,
which is
San
great.
Jose.
And there's a lot of energy going there. Also, just really looking at some places in Rosen as well. Obviously, there's a lot of energy going around. There's a lot happening at the Roseland Village neighborhood.
Right.
Plaza there. I mean, those are areas that you don't necessarily have to think too much of ahead and wish. There are things that are going, coming there are entities that are coming together, and people from the community that are stepping up.
Okay, now I'm
which
going
is
to
a
push
great
you on it
thing.
though. Like magic bulldozer, you could take anything out. What would you do? And speaking as yourself, not an official representative of Landpaths, so this is all clear.
I don't know. I think it probably would be something,
the mall,
probably
dude.
something downtown. Well, it's. I think in terms of connectability, I mean, there's been a lot of questions. I mean, I've seen some of the history behind why and how that happened, but probably the connectability around that is an issue.
Can you imagine if there's a nature path, rather a path that was all nature from the heart of Santa Rosa all the way to the beach?
Very true. I think that's true. I think a lot of people are looking for that. The freeway really divided up our community, and I think there was an opportunity there to actually probably mend that through there, and it could have been there.
You have to come back and talk to us about how that might be. We're talking with Omar Gallardo. He's the Outreach and Diversity Director of Landpaths. Thanks for being on the show, man. Hope you
Thank you.
come back.
All right.
Cheers.